Millions of hidden Trump voters in this country do reports about Trump napping in court, meaning he lacks the stamina to be president again. FY Trump has been exposed, who runs the show by Jimmy Kimmel, and Bill Maher, and Trumpy is just wailing uncontrollably. President Trump's personal advisor, Kellyanne Conway, tried to defend him against criticism during a recent visit on Bill Maher's show, but Maher didn't waste any time in destroying Trump's image. Do reports about Trump napping in court, meaning he lacks the stamina to be president again. The media who covers him never thinks that their job is to get the story. They think their job is to get Trump. We've been living with this for 10 straight years, leading to an engrossing conversation about his ability to concede and tendency to place the blame elsewhere. The apex of this behavior was reached when Trump claimed extensive voter fraud during the 2020 election and incited a crowd to assault the Capitol. As you know, I've come here from New York, where I'm being forced to endure a Biden show trial, all done by Biden. I gave hush money to a porn star trial. I stole documents and put them by the toilet trial. Trump is adamant about challenging the results of the 2024 presidential election, despite persistent concerns about the integrity of subsequent elections. Since his defeat, he has worked tirelessly to erode public confidence in the democratic system. He frequently displays behaviors that point to cognitive impairment, such as steadfast assertion of victory in states he lost. Trump's position, so only he will judge whether elections are fair in confirming their validity, and the loss being written off as rigged. You can't love your country only when you win. President Biden rightly said, underscoring Trump's obsessive obsession on winning at all costs. The judge said Stormy could testify about her sexual relationship with Trump, but also said we don't need to know the details. And see, now that's where I have to object. We need Trump back to make our country great again. Our country, if we get Biden back in there, it's totally gone. This preoccupation even extends to his founded claims of illegal immigration meddling in elections, even though non-citizens are not allowed to vote. In order to further his own agenda, Trump incites fear of immigration and political meddling. Conway almost seemed ridiculous in his argument of Trump's unwillingness to concede the 2020 election, pointing to their acceptance of the 2016 result of victory for them as evidence of their dedication to democracy. Her attempts to divert attention away from Trump's narcissism, which was the motivation behind his actions, only served to highlight how conceited was Trump. Was accurately described by Maher as a textbook narcissist who was motivated by an overwhelming need for approval and admiration. Even with her skill at manipulation, Conway is no match for Trump's deceptive skills. Look at the polls. People think Joe Biden is not up to the job, whether it's confidence in his competence or just the sheer energy to move from point A to point B. It's weird. You couldn't find. There's nobody like that. The brain, the whole thing. We had a great relationship, but like Trump, she suffers from criticism from comedians and late-night presenters due to her tendency to make absurd remarks. Speaking of humor, Conway's abortive stand-up routines, among which was a notable one in which she performed while missing a leg, offered humorous counterpoint to the political drama surrounding Trump. However, Maher's biting criticism of Trump and Conway serves as a frightening warning of the possible repercussions of a narcissist's collapse. Now, let's talk about Trump's propensity for lying. His astounding total of more than 30,000 false or misleading assertions made over a 4-year period shows a pattern of routine dishonesty. As relenting attacks on political rivals serve as another evidence of his determination to dehumanize and degrade people in order to achieve his own agenda. Conway may assert that Trump is a man of integrity, but his recorded disparaging words and insults says volumes about his character. He never had an affair with Trump. I questioned whether she actually signed the letter, because the signature looked suspect, and asked her implied that she had a video of Trump looking absolutely just as style and doing crazy SC. And of course, Joe Biden is not actually crazy. Your guy is actually crazy for making fun of opponents to insulting Maher. Directly, Trump's actions revealed his actual character, a fact that Conway doesn't appear to want to admit. And now it's Jimmy time to teach him a lesson. During his testimony, Trump let out a loud fart in the courtroom, causing uproarious laughter. Jimmy Kimmel seized the opportunity to poke fun at Trump, suggesting he eat more veggies to avoid such moments. The fart became the day's punchline, overshadowing everything else and eliciting laughter even in the solemn atmosphere. Kimmel joked that perhaps Trump's gas was his way of making a statement, leaving everyone curious about what antics Trump might pull next. Rumors circulated that Trump's lawyers gave him sedatives to appear more composed in court. Whether Judge Merchant is irritated by Trump's drowsiness or his nocturnal habits on Truth Social remains unclear. Nonetheless, they've tried various methods to keep Trump alert during proceedings. Trump's courtroom naps have become so legendary that his lawyer doesn't even bother sitting next to him during sidebars anymore, fearing he might catch some zizz by association. Here's case death. Oh, you're doing death as a proportion of cases. I'm talking about death as a proportion of population. That's where the U.S. is really bad. Many people voted for Biden, but have lost interest in them, staying awake. Seems like a kind of a baseline requirement. For Trump, you want to project a little bit bigger, right? Some savvy entrepreneurs see a golden opportunity here. Soon we might see Trump-branded energy drinks and wake-up supplements hitting the shelves, and those maybe will even spot Trump PCOs castigate and denigrate the millions of people who support him. And let's not forget his peculiar penchant for stacks smothered in those tiny ketchup bottles, a culinary quirk that's just as baffling as it is amusing. Speaking of steak, rumor has it that Trump's obsession with the May-Delight knows no bounds. He allegedly indulges in steak twice a day. It's going out of style, but his culinary adventures take a cringe-worthy turn when he's abroad, opting out of cheeseburgers in favor of steak in places like India, where beef isn't exactly on the menu at McDonald's. It's safe to say that Trump's food choices have become a global punchline, leaving us all wondering what's next on the menu of embarrassment in the last 3 elections, and then how many in the future. I don't know. Is that one guy does not concede when he loses. When the last guy was here, you were shipping jobs to China. Now we're bringing jobs home from China, so we find ourselves in the peculiar position of considering Trump's bid for the presidency again, despite his infamous penchant for public flatulence. It's a real head-scratcher, isn't it? If he can't keep it together during a courtroom session, how can we trust him to lead an entire nation? On the flip side, there's Biden, who exudes decency and responsibility, the kind of guy you'd gladly UST with your neighbor's dog, alone, the fate of a country. Now let's take a moment to shine the spotlight on Biden's achievements. This guy's been hustling like a pro, tackling everything from the pandemic to the economy with the finest of a seasoned juggler. Remember when COVID-19 slammed into our lives like a wrecking ball? Biden didn't skip mandates to keep everyone safe. And let's not forget his efforts in reviving the economy. He's been churning out jobs like a factory on overdrive. It's as if he's playing SimCity with the real world. And guess what he's acing at? Goodbye.